We're on. We're on, Claire. Now, look, I'm going to do a little intro, though. I just left the house a few minutes. This is like we did the other day. I might do a few videos, and we'll see what happens today. I got Crow and a new friend and a couple of... I ran into Claire and Caveman and Fat Boy. That's Fat Boy. He growled at me. Claire, say hi.
Hi, how are you doing? Now, I'm Clara Kay.
Clara Kay. You know, we had a good friend of ours that died we had a few that died this last year. But when Buck passed away, and he had a wonderful, memorial service at a church right down the street here. And Claire, she set that up. It was very nice. And
I was also a pallbearer for Don Williams, and for my best friend. Yes. I was a pallbearer. He was all 8 women pallbearers.
Don also, I'm going to use the name, he didn't like it. We used to call Don Metalhead, but he didn't like that term. Of course, Don passed away after Buck.
He died in the same place that Buck did, in the park.
Right here.
Poured out park.
Yeah. Now, Claire, your church is the
St. Peter's,
which is, there's the feeding ministry that you see me at sometimes. It's called Timmons, but I've been around for a long time. I met a few new guys today, but I've been around long enough where Timmons used to feed at St. Peter's before they got the building.
That's right. Timmons was there.
Correct. And Susanna's daughter, Jennifer, used to serve. Look, that's how long I've been around. Suzanne, we refer to her as Blaze, and I believe she's living out on the island. I met her son a few times, and so
they were going to shut it down. Over at St. Peter's on Tuesday morning breakfast, and a man and a woman, Claude and Miss Charlotte Parker, stepped forward and said, "No, we can't have that." And they were paying out of their own pockets for a long time to make sure that it stayed going.
Because they still feed on Tuesday, a Tuesday morning breakfast.
It starts at 7:30,
but
doors open at 6.
A few people got in some fights, and they were smoking in the wrong area. And
they were drinking and being obnoxious. So.
Look, they shut down a couple of the feedings that they were doing. Brother Dave, and they shut him down.
They tore down the park, too.
Yep. Now, but Brother Ray is still feeding on Sunday at Church Without Walls.
But Brother Dave is sneaking around, and he's feeding us over there at 12 at the park.
Oh, but he said that the cops told him no more, that they were going to arrest him.
And he said, "Arrest me, you're taking everybody with me."
Oh, well, we're giving it away. We're giving Dave away. Dave was the one who told me that...
He's got enough gumption to come to us and say, "Hey, I'm going to feed you anyway."
I want to promote, I've done it before actually in a video, but Brother Ray, who's pastor of Church Without Walls, who's a friend on Facebook. This is Waldron Road in Flower Bluff, Corpus Christi, 2:30, right off of Waldron Road. You'll see a big tent at 2:30, and Brother Ray feeds the homeless. Everyone that wants to go can eat, regardless.
Don't matter who you are.
And also, if people want to cook, sometimes churches volunteer, and they cook the meal for that Sunday. So anybody that's interested, it's Church Without Walls. If you go to Facebook to Ray Escalante, he's a friend of mine on Facebook. You could also contact him that way. Claire,
I was volunteering over at his house one day. And this man named John from Rock City.
Yes.
I said, "Well, John, do you even know what Brother Ray's last name is?" And he goes, "Ray? No, it's Escalante." And he was talking Spanish to this lady for me. He goes, "You're kidding me, it's Escalante?" And I said, "You're Spanish and you didn't know that last name? Come on, really?"
I was going to say, I knew Ray's last name for a while, but it did sound, he didn't come across as having a last name like Escalante when I realized it. Crow, say something.
Hello?
I just ran into you. I went into Stripes, and I was not sure how the day would go. And then Crow was right there. So I said, well, let's do something. We might actually, I don't know, we might go over to Timmons in a while. Maybe we'll do another North Beach, jump in the water, or the island. I've been doing that with some of the guys last year. And Caveman, you didn't see him, but Caveman, he's sitting over there with his dog. Look, I have a surprise for Albert Hoffman, but I want to catch it on video. I went into the dollar store. I got some smoked oysters, so he likes them. And if I get him on video, I'm going to tell him, you got to come over here, Albert.
He needs this because his sister a few weeks ago came over into the park and brought him a brand new bike.
Okay.
Brand new. Somebody stole it 4 days ago. Stole his horse. And Roger,
Yeah, in the bluff, that's
Roger
what they say.
Heiseman and another guy was sitting there when the guy set Albert up to get him away from his bike. And he said, well, Roger, why didn't you stop him? He goes, well, I was scared, didn't know if you had a knife. There's two of y'all.
Look, the bluff.
There's only one of me. It won't even take half of me to
Claire,
stop him.
let me ask you, like, if I picked on you, are you able to handle yourself?
Want to find out?
That's right. I heard the story.
These are not rings. These are brass
Listen,
knuckles.
the bicycle stories in Flower Bluff, I used to say you could make a whole book on it. One time, I'm not going to give the name, but a few of my friends that were talking about the other day, but one time I was out of the bluff for maybe 6 months. As soon as I got back, I saw one of my friends. You know him. I'm not going to give a name. He was on his bike, and he had another one next to him. Of course, it was stolen.
I already know who it is.
Yes. So, in the bluff, it's almost like a rule that, look, if the bike is stolen, it's considered, that's almost like a rule.
And I have a rule. If you steal somebody's ride, don't complain because you see somebody steal that ride from you and they're taking off down the road. You can't complain about it. You just stole some child's bicycle and somebody else came and stole it from you.
Yes.
You got no right.
Actually, it's kind of like a rule because a lot of the
It is
bikes,
a rule.
a lot of the bikes, if the guys are maybe they're eating somewhere and they're leaving and somebody left the bike outside, they'll jump on that bike, take it. The owner will get it back maybe a week later, but it's sort of like
it's on page 53 of Homeless Etiquette.
look,
Book.
there's a bike. There's a business
Look it
that's
up.
like you lend your bike to somebody if they need to go from point A to point B. So in the Bluff, they've been doing that for many years.
Like you have dumpster diving etiquette.
Yes.
Whoever gets there first has that.
Now, I have
and
not
you
s-
can't be taking their stuff until they look through it.
I have not seen Brother Henry in a while.
I seen him yesterday morning
Okay.
over at.
He goes to the breakfast?
Yes, he
Okay.
does.
How is Henry doing? Because I've not seen him.
He don't look good.
Okay. Sometimes you've seen Henry on my video. Very talented, gifted Henry in ministry
He's
and
a
all.
deacon.
Yes, he's a deacon for Church Without
brother
Walls. And Henry's a good, many years Henry and I have had, I gave him one of the little book I wrote years ago, and he loved that book. It talked about how the poor, from the book of James, it says, has God not chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom which he has promised. Now, I taught a lot more in that book, but later when I gave that book to Henry, he said, I like that you talked about the faith, that in the Bible, it talks about the poor having great faith. And Henry's he's almost a genius, Henry.
I'm so glad that you said that because a lot of people out here, they're always going, well, Deacon Henry, he don't talk to many people.
Yes.
I said he talks to my little skinny ass. I sit with him in the park, and he'll talk to me all day long. And it's scriptures and everything.
Yes.
But when I've been drinking too much, I tell him, all right, Brother Henry, it's not Sunday, and we ain't in church, and I got a buzz. I got to go.
Henry is very gifted, and he looks like a regular, maybe homeless person would look, oftentimes with the beard and all. But if you sat with Henry, you could almost do a good documentary on Henry.
But if you see K-Berry piss him off,
he's
different
look, I've
side
seen
of
him say goodbye.
Bye, I gotta go.
Bye, Claire. Claire's a
Too
sweetheart.
hot. It's hot out here, and
Yes, go ahead.
I'm having hot
we
flashes,
might see
menopause.
you. We might see you at Timmons.
You will see me everywhere.
Yeah, if we're going.
Everywhere.
Crow, I wasn't sure we were going to do I do off the cuff videos like this.
I don't care, bro.
I was going to say, well, that's Jay. Say hi.
What's up?
I just met him. He's new in the Bluff, but I told Crow. I said we'll see what happens. But you've not seen Claire. Look, Claire, you didn't see Caveman. He's been around for a while, but she's a sweetheart, and Claire lives, on the streets for many years. And I kidded her because I know that Claire is kind of, she'll get into it with you. So I said,
New York second.
yes. Look, I know everything. That's how I know the stories. Now, look, we'll go another minute. Crow, this will be the first one, and whatever else we do throughout the day. But any particular word, anything you want to say?
Yes. Claire was the very first homeless person I ever met.
Okay.
And she scared the heck out of me. Because you're 100% right. She will, you don't stand in front of her and try and limit her or to anything of, you're choosing. You let her do what she feels is the right thing to do, and she will fight you tooth and nail for it. And the first time I met her, she was my sister, and I'm like, holy cow, these guys are going to eat me up. And thank goodness that instead of trying to stand in her way, I walked behind her, and she's a very good friend. She really is. She's had ups and downs, but she's, as you can see, she's doing well. And
What are you doing, old man?
she's an inspiration. Hey, how's it going?
Another day in hell.
Mitch Matthews, he's someone who has been on that roller coaster and still on it, and extreme. Yeah, and I tried my best to help him out. I lost a girlfriend getting that car for him. She stole it, and so I had to go and get it back. And then, like I said, then lost the girl. So it doesn't matter, though. I mean, you promise somebody you're going to do something for them, and you do your best to carry it out.
Yeah.
Whether your girlfriend / car thief likes it or not, Seriously. So you can tell he is still going through his, and apparently not doing very well.
Now, Crow, I just knew Crow now for maybe a year, but there's a lot of old timers, meaning that people I've known for many years out here. But what I heard from some of the guys, they said, oh, there's a lot of new people around. I just met a new friend today. But over the years, Crow, the Bluff, this area where I live in Corpus Christi, we call it Flower Bluff. Those of you, some are familiar with it. But there's a lot of street people, a lot of homeless people out here.
Absolutely.
For many years. I used to visit Old Carpenter Tin, still around. Over in that area where you see HEB in the back and all, that used to be all fields and trees, and there were camps all in this area over the years. I used to go visit Tim. He'd make hobo coffee in the camps. Eventually, in order to deal with the homeless, the city would get, they would mow down a lot of the area, get rid of the brush. But the reason, I guess, that a lot of them congregate here, you do have a few ministries that help the homeless, and then during the day, they have nowhere, so they find spots. And homelessness is a huge problem, and it's a problem throughout the country. And a lot of my friends, I have veteran friends who are homeless, and they say, the Austin, not the young Austin we know, but the other Austin that got kicked out of the Bluff. I don't know if you know him. He has the car. He's a veteran. He used to fly a sign. His name is also Austin. But I run into him all the way on the other side of town sometimes when I used to go visit Pops. But he told me, he said, John, homelessness is not a crime. He said, but it's treated like a crime. And even Henry, who we were just discussing, look, Henry is straight up. You'll never see Henry drunk. You'll never see Henry steal anything. But sometimes Henry, because he's got a little trailer he lives in now, not too far from here. But sometimes when he's on the street, just to sit down like this, even if it's at a church property, a lot of times the cops will come by and say, you got to keep moving. And so the plight of the homeless sometimes is you feel like, even if you're not doing anything wrong, you feel like you're committing a crime simply because you're looked upon like, what are you doing? And it's a problem. All right, I'm going to shut it, Crow. Any last word or something else?
Yeah, it's very true, and it's a shame because most of the time, of course, it's the homeless that are getting picked on, they're getting beat up and dying.
Look, we just mentioned Don and Buck.
Yes, and I walked right past them as they lay there dead. I thought he was sleeping peacefully. Of course, it wasn't, and that is just a few. I mean, it would seem like common sense that that would be something that you get used to, but not at all. I mean, these aren't just some of them that died in the park. This is a friend that you knew and liked a lot. And, when they die like that, I love her for the way she remembers them crystal clear.
Yeah.
And you come back and ask her 5 years from now, and she'll remember crystal clear.
Yeah.
And I'll be saying, it's Don, they call Don, but I really like Don a lot. And,
I'll tell you an interesting story. One day I was walking up to the Mission Timmins a few years ago, and there was somebody sleeping by the fence on the outside. A lot of guys drink on the outside of the fence. For some strange reason, I took a snapshot. Now, he was passed out, but he was sleeping like a baby. And I said, I'm going to get this picture of him. He died 2 weeks later. His name is Buck. That picture I took was the only picture we had of Buck. That picture was when I mentioned Buck's funeral at the church. When I walked into the funeral, it was that picture from my phone. I sent it to the pastor. Claire said, do you have that picture of Buck? They framed it in a beautiful frame, Buck sleeping like a baby. And then I have it at the house because on all the church pamphlets for Buck's funeral, they had that same picture. But you know, it was off the top of my head. It was him sleeping, and I just took it, just not realizing it was meant to be that would be his funeral picture. It was very strange. I still got it. I'll show it to you later.
They did the same thing with Kelly's picture that they had at his funeral. They moved his camp from the heat in the interior to the edge of the water, and they're very excited about it. And it's like, well, this is something to celebrate. Take a picture. And he squatted down and they took a picture. And thus they have the one that he died for his funeral. And you look at him sitting there squatting, and he was very young, too young, but he's also extremely happy there. And
I didn't see this.
Yes, and it's really something. Yeah. It really is. And
Kelly was one of our friends that died out of the blue. But no one expected him to die, and he just died.
Yeah, he's moving to step out of a storage unit into a truck to move in with his parents, with his brothers, and he was dead before he hit the ground. And it's just, again, one of those things that is too common, and you would think you get used to it. And I pray to God I never get used to it. But he was a good friend. I've known him since he was 4 or 5.
Now, if what I'll do is, if today I might do like we did the other day, whatever happens, there's really no plan a lot of times when I'm out on the streets. Sometimes I might do a few more videos for today, and if so...
Like survival etiquette.
Yeah.
Don't have a lot of shit if you're on the street.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
so if we do a little more, if we do a few more videos, you get them. If not, it'll be, hello, brother. Okay, so that'll be it for now, and maybe you'll see me give the oysters to old Albert. God bless everybody.